Okay, let's just dive right in with a question that's, well, it's a little uncomfortable, but I bet it's one you've asked yourself before, probably quietly. You're scrolling through your phone, you see the pictures of parties, group vacations, all of it, and you just get this feeling like, why does it seem like everyone else has this friendship thing figured out?
And I mean really initiated. Not just replying to a group chat someone else started, not just liking a story. I mean, you were the one who picked up the phone, sent the text, and said, hey, we should do something. For a lot of us, it's a surprisingly tough question to answer, and it really gets to the core of what we're talking about today, this gap between just having people around and actually building friendships.
It's this exact feeling, right? It's not always about being completely alone. It's more that you feel separate, like you're watching everyone else's vibrant social life from behind a window. And if you've ever felt that, I want you to hear this. You are not just imagining it, and it is not some kind of personal failure. That right there is the most important part of this whole conversation. And here's the idea that can really change how you see this. The problem? It's not you. A lot of research is pointing to something way bigger, something structural. The world we live in, the very design of our communities, has changed in ways that make those deep, real friendships a lot harder to build and hang on to. And just understanding that, well, that's the first step to feeling a whole lot less alone.
So let's give this feeling a name, because when you can name something, you can start to understand it. Researchers have this term that honestly really helped me make sense of my own experiences. They call it the depth deficit.
Okay, first we've got to get our definitions right because these two things are not the same. Social isolation is objective. It's a numbers game. How many people do you actually see or talk to? But loneliness? Loneliness is totally different. That's a feeling. It's subjective. You can be in a packed stadium or have 1,000 followers online and still feel completely, profoundly lonely.
And that right there is the perfect way to describe the depth deficit. It's one of the great paradoxes of our time, isn't it? We have all these connections, acquaintances, colleagues, online friends, but we're missing those deep, supportive relationships where you can just be yourself, be vulnerable, and feel truly seen. It's about quality, not quantity.
And get this stat completely blows up the stereotype of who's supposed to be lonely. We usually picture an elderly person, right? But the research shows that young adults are way more likely to feel this way. So if you're in your 20s or 30s and this is hitting home, you're not some weird outlier. You're actually right in the middle of a massive and growing trend.
This brings us straight to something fascinating called the friendship paradox. It perfectly captures that modern feeling of being surrounded by people, but not really close to any of them.
Just look at this chart from the American Friendship Project. It lays it out so clearly. You see that first bar? A whopping 75% of people say they're happy with the number of friends they have. But then, look at that second bar. 40%, a huge chunk, wish they felt closer to those same friends. That's the gap. That's the paradox. It's having friends on paper, but not feeling that warmth in your life.
So what is going on here? Why is there this disconnect? Well, researchers have a few theories. One is the displacement hypothesis. Basically, every minute we spend scrolling online is a minute we're not spending with someone face to face. Then there's media dependency theory. We're turning to social media for a kind of deep emotional support that, let's be honest, it was never built to provide. And then there's this very modern fear of judgment that can make us terrified of being truly authentic with each other.
Okay, so let's zoom out now. Let's move beyond just our phones and our feelings for a second and look at the actual physical world around us. Because it turns out our environment itself might be setting us up for isolation.
Think about this. Sociologists talk about something called third places. Home is your first place, work is your second. Third places are everywhere else. The coffee shops, the public libraries, the parks, the community centers, they're the spots where you can just be. And as these places have slowly vanished, so have the chances for those random, spontaneous run-ins that so often spark real friendships.
And what happens when those physical places go away? We retreat even further into our digital worlds. The pandemic, of course, was like pouring gasoline on this fire. This chart here shows just how big of an impact all that screen time had on young people. And the consequences weren't just about being bored. It fundamentally rewired how they connect with each other.
And right here, this is the number that really gets me. A staggering 70% of Gen Z said their actual real-life communication skills got worse. It's like a muscle, right? Your social muscle. If you stop using it, it gets weaker. And for years now, we've been working out our digital thumbs, while our ability to just talk to someone in person, has started to atrophy.
So we've talked about the social side, the environmental side, but this isn't just an emotional problem. We're now learning that this feeling of loneliness has a real, measurable, physical impact on our brains and our bodies.
For the longest time, we've treated loneliness like it's just a bad mood, something you're supposed to just get over. But scientists are now seeing it as a biological state. It's a distress signal from your body, almost like hunger or thirst. It's your brain screaming at you that a fundamental human need, connection, is not being met.
And the physical effects they're serious. Chronic loneliness can crank up your stress hormones. It can mess with the parts of your brain that control motivation, and it can change how you deal with stress. And then there's this last point. It can increase your risk of dying early by 29%. To put that in perspective, that's on par with major risk factors like smoking or obesity. This isn't just a feeling. It's a public health crisis.
Okay, so that's a lot. And it's heavy stuff. So where do we go from here? The way forward, it turns out, isn't about frantically trying to collect more friends. It's about totally redefining what it even means to be connected in the first place.
I came across this term recently that I think just nails the modern experience: ambient loneliness. It's like background noise. You're surrounded by all the tools of connection, full Wi-Fi bars, constant notifications, endless feeds, but you're starving for actual, authentic, human presence. It's the feeling of being alone together. And that means the solution isn't to just add more contacts to your phone. The real challenge is internal. It's about shifting our own focus away from the quantity of our connections and toward the quality of our presence when we're actually with someone. It's choosing to be present over just performing. Which really leaves us with this one big question to sit with. In a world where we're so used to seeing the highlight reels, the perfect, curated versions of everyone's lives, what does a real friend even look like anymore? What does real friendship feel like? It might be something we all have to learn again.
And I just want to end with this beautiful quote that puts everything into perspective. It asks if real connection is something we can measure in data, in megabytes, or if it's found in all the things we can't possibly quantify. A hand on your shoulder, a look that says, "I get it," or just that comfortable silence between two people who don't need words.